Hello everybody, I am the voice Craig Anderson, and you're listening to Dirt Sheet Mania, Episode 3. Hello, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time of the day you're listening to this, welcome to episode 3 of Dirt Sheet Mania. I am the voice Craig Anderson, as always your host, alongside the director of creativity, Kieran Smith. Hello Kieran, how you doing, bud?
I'm not bad, Craig, and I'm personally hoping that people aren't listening to this at night because I don't want them falling asleep to my voice.
Well, I think when people talk about our voices, they're quite nice, quite smooth voices.
I wouldn't go that far.
Smooth.
No, definitely not.
No. Guys, we had in 2 days of WWE, we've had a 3-hour Raw, a 2-hour SmackDown, we've had a mixed match challenge, and we've had 1 hour of 205 live action, which is already after 2 weeks back in of being like on a rebrand, already absolutely red hot. We'll talk about that in the bridge section. So tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about Raw first. Then in the bridge section, we're going to be in between Raw and SmackDown, 205 Live and the Mixed Match Challenge. And then we're going to talk about SmackDown. You ready, Kieran?
I am as ready as I ever will be.
So first up, here's Monday Night Raw. We start with a little couple of vignettes from Bray and Roman. We go into their match. The winner gets into the Elimination Chamber.
The Elimination Chamber.
100 miles of chains.
That thing.
That kind of
that looks
nonsense.
completely different now.
It looks like safer.
Yeah.
It looks bigger but safer.
Yeah.
Which I think was the
But it was more to do with cameras and being able to see through the chamber. That's why it looks different.
It's visually better for television.
Exactly.
Okay, let's not beat around the bush. Roman beats Bray. Come on, was there any doubt behind this, really?
Roman was always going to win, but I think in terms of the match, I think they've done a believable enough job for to believe that Bray could potentially beat Roman.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think as much as it is predictable, as long as they can do a good enough job of maybe making you think that Roman will lose. I think
Roman did lose to The Miz twice in a row.
Exactly.
2 weeks in a row as well.
And the thing is as well, I mean, obviously we found out that next week there will be a fatal 4-way last chance qualifier.
Now, you guessed this. We didn't know who necessarily. I mean, in previous weeks, months, years, there's occasionally been like an over the top battle royale. So whoever wins that gets that last spot. But in this case, it will be the 4 losers of the matches that have got into the match so far.
Yeah, and knowing the fact that this match was going to come next week, could they have maybe just swerved us a little bit and make Bray go over Roman? I don't know, get someone to cost Roman the match, like a Miz again or something like that. And then next week Roman goes into the fatal 4-way. Having to go, this is my last chance to get into a WrestleMania, into the WrestleMania main event, Yeah. I think that would have made a bit more of an intriguing story.
So who's in the chamber right now? Can you remember?
So it's Braun, Elias, Cena, Miz, and Reigns.
Miz and Reigns. Well, obviously, Miz wins his match later on tonight against Apollo Crews as well. We might as well talk about that now while we're here, to be fair. Miz gets into that match. Miz beats Apollo Crews. And I've written on my notes here, Kieran, just a little bit further down if I scroll down, that I think that was the best match Apollo Crews has had so far in a singles match. He's had some decent tags with Matthias, as we talked about in the previous weeks, but a really good singles match.
Are we talking about on the main roster?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, 100%. He had a few great matches on. Well, I say great, good matches on NXT.
I wouldn't call his matches great. Not yet. He's a great wrestler.
The thing is, recently he's had matches, and which has been a lot better than what he's done for the last 6 months, even a year, ever since he got called up to the main roster. But he's having matches. Yeah, he lost to the Miz, but Miz is an 8-time Intercontinental Champion. we'd probably say that Miz is probably in our top 5 wrestlers at the moment.
Oh, no question.
You know, we say that he should be in a WWE or a Universal title match at some point.
100%.
So Cruz losing to Miz isn't the worst thing.
It's not.
But he's having matches on TV and he's having good matches on TV. He's obviously been in tag team title matches. Mm-hmm. He's going to be in the mixed match challenge with Nia Jax.
Yeah, he is.
He's getting. I will not say it's a push, but he's
been put in all the cool things.
He's been put.
Really
he's been utilised, and I think, you know, you're not always going to be at the top. You're not always going to be Cena or Orton
or Roman
that sort of level all the time. People in the mid card is going to be spits and bursts and things like that.
Without a mid card, you need a mid card to pad it out. If you don't have guys like Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil, then you just have the top guys and then just people that nobody cares about. Yeah. So
I mean, it was interesting to have Apollo Crews in this match. I mean, I probably wouldn't have had Apollo in it, you know, but
I didn't see. Okay, when I saw Miz Apollo, I didn't think for 1 minute Apollo would win, but it's just interesting to see how the WWE have not changed their minds, but are almost like, okay, we know he can work. We're going to start to put some trust and some stock into Apollo Crews now. That to me was more interesting than anything else. He's in a nice little stable, Titus Worldwide. I'm actually got a little soft spot for Titus Worldwide. I just hope the fans in attendance every week start to kind of get behind them a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But he's got an athletic style, and unfortunately, it's the type of style that would be great in 205 Live. But he's just a bit heavier, and it's like a shame that he can't be in it. You know,
he's like 245 pounds.
Yeah.
And for that weight, it's incredible.
Yeah.
One little bug that Michael Cole said on commentary about The Miz is that why does The Miz have to go after another championship?
And this is coming from Michael Cole, who's meant to be the biggest Miz fanboy.
Friggin' cheerleader.
Like 5 years ago.
Even if we just kind of ignore that and put it to one side, has he not been watching The Miz's promos? Has he not been watching what The Miz is about, what The Miz does? I tell you what, that promo he cut on pretty much on Brock Lesnar. I don't think. Okay, so straight up, I don't think The Miz will win the Elimination Chamber match.
No,
straight up. Cena's in it, Braun's in it.
Well, we know who's going to win it.
Roman's in it. Roman. Yeah. Those three guys have probably the most legitimate shot. You know, they could go with either three of them. So for The Miz to do that promo, to me, all of a sudden go, yeah, he won't win. But I tell you what, mate, I believed every single word that came out of that bloke's mouth.
Is there a bit of foreshadowing? You know, Lesnar, Miz, SummerSlam, something like that. Miz has just signed a 4-year deal.
He does.
4-year deal, which is obviously great news for both parties. But
extremely good news. Extremely good news.
Because you got to think, Roman will probably be Brock at Mania for the Universal title. Mm-hmm. Where will Brock go from there? Will he make a jump over to SmackDown? But there's still there's still plenty of people for Brock to face. Miz could be one of them. Mm-hmm. You know,
it just needs to be the problem. It's not a problem because it's a great tool to use to their advantage. It's always their advantage because Brock has been booked like this monster and this killer, which he is. You have to have this believable way that he can get beat. I mean, who's the last person to pin him? Was it Triple H?
Yeah, I think so.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And before that, it was probably was it the Undertaker did beat him?
Yeah,
in
that was
a
really
really
controversial,
dodgy SummerSlam tap out blow thing. So, to the last person to pin him clean, I know Triple.
Well, it was Goldberg actually thinking about it.
Well, Goldberg,
yeah. That was that freak 1 minute 29 minute match, second match.
But Miz can. I don't care if Miz beats Brock Lesnar if it goes down that route with the help of the Miztourage and every Tom, Dick and Harry, because at the end of the day, all you see on the end result is Miz beats Brock Lesnar. Yeah. So
and the thing is, and we'll obviously allude to this in a promo that Alexa Bliss does later, but Brock's not on TV a lot. Brock could probably afford a few losses now, to be honest. Miz. You know, to build Miz up even more, him being a Brock Lesnar, would be tremendous.
I wouldn't necessarily say Brock needs losses because you don't want to bring Brock down. You want to bring people up to Brock. So it's a tough balance. Yeah. So good luck to WWE for making it believable when if it's not Roman to beat Brock at WrestleMania, for someone else to do it or down the line. Anyway, just after this as well, we should mention in the Bray Roman Reigns match, Matt Hardy did pop out for a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Mind games continue with him and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, well, he popped out in the live crowd. Everyone went delete delete.
He owns the rights now.
And he does own full rights to the Broken Universe, but I think they'll probably still keep the whole Woken thing. And
Kieran, where will Jeremy Borash appear? Will he appear with EC3 in NXT, or will he appear with Matt Hardy?
Yeah, I think he'll be on NXT. Mm-hmm. I know he's been recently acquired. I don't know. I think in terms of the ring announcers and the backstage interviewers and the people and that the extra staff, so to speak, I think WWE have got plenty of talent to do that.
Yeah.
I think Borash would fit more into a Triple H style of NXT 205 Live, maybe. Something like that.
I could even see him in a manager role next, because, you know, he is great on the mic, he's confident. He's got a bit of an attitude on him when he needs to be, like when he was a bit of a heel once upon a time in TNA. But if you want to put him in a creative standpoint, then great, because he was on TNA creative for a very long time.
If you want to talk about managers and who I think a manager should be of a superstar, and I know we're going a bit off tangent here,
Mm-hmm.
I always think that Corey Graves should be a mouthpiece for someone. And there's a photo that I saw today on Instagram of Corey Graves with Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, could you imagine Corey Graves being a mouthpiece for Shinsuke? Shinsuke, obviously, we know he's got very broken English. He's good enough, but because he's Japanese, but his English isn't the best. But Corey Graves speaking for someone like him, or even speaking for someone like Asuka, or someone who doesn't have great mic skills, Corey Graves could be that next. Corey Graves could potentially be the next Paul Heyman. Like,
he could be. We honestly, I think we need about an hour aside to that, because I think there's a lot to kind of dive into that. But
yeah, we're talking Monday Night Raw.
Corey Graves as a manager for Asuka or Shinsuke Nakamura. We move on. Finn Balor was supposed to be in singles match with one of the Revival. That didn't happen, did it? Nah, it ended up with Finn Balor and Carl Anderson versus the Revival, and the Revival got beat by not technically a tag team, but two members of a stable in very short time. Not doing great for the Revival's reboost, is it?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with the Revival.
I don't think
we said
know.
The last couple of weeks that they need victories. And,
they got one? Against Titus Worldwide, didn't they?
You can't win every match, and I get that.
This is 50-50 booking. You can't win half and lose half, because then no one gets momentum.
But you can lose matches, but as long as you lose credibly, you rather than having a short match, could they have not gone 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and you have real close pinfalls and then lose. Well, that may have been better for them, but
I'll tell you what. The one thing though, this Raw was an absolutely jam-packed Raw as well. So maybe they did. Do you know what? Maybe just not even have it.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is being exposed on the show and losing better or worse than just not being on the show at all? Interesting.
It's an interesting. SmackDown has that same, and NXT as well. NXT has it more because they've only got an hour each week, but SmackDown having 2 hours is also the same. You can't always appear on every week on the show.
So is it better not to
is
appear?
It better? But because Raw's got 3 hours and 15 minutes, they should be able to fit something on the show like that, in my eyes.
Well, fair enough. We move on. Cruiserweight tag team action. This was, I think, when they used to sort of say, oh, look, any matches on Raw were more of an advert for 205 Live, right? It never really transpired. It never really kind of made it look like, oh, I want to go and watch 205 Live. In this match alone, it made me want to watch 205 Live the next day. This is exactly what it's supposed to be. And it's all down to one man, that's Rockstar Spud. Well, his new name, which is Maverick.
What's his first name?
Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick.
Such a great name.
It is and it isn't. I don't know. It's a weird name, but maybe because we're used to Rockstar Spud, but
and they still
say his name, which I find very very weird.
It's so strange.
It wasn't when ex-TNA guys went to WWE. Like obviously AJ Styles kept his name, Samoa Joe kept his name.
Yeah. A lot of the Japanese guys kept their names.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of what other TNA superstars went to NXT but changed.
Bobby
their names.
Roode, he didn't change his name.
But
even James Storm came to NXT. He didn't change his name.
So they still keep their names.
EC3 hasn't changed his name.
Yeah,
obviously
Xavier Woods.
Yeah, Xavier
Woods.
Do you remember his TNA name?
Consequences Creed.
Correct.
That's a great name.
He was, yeah.
But great advert for 205 Live. I mean, it's since come out today that Vince McMahon has stepped down for doing the creative duties for 205 Live and giving it back to Triple H, which I think is great because we all know what he does with NXT.
Yeah.
And the focus now is more on wrestling matches, cruiserweight style wrestling matches, and not driven forward by characters like an Enzo Amore, which is what Vince wanted.
And now that's...
And you can still have the characters in 205 Live. It's not saying it's all going to be wrestling
You
related.
You need the characters because you need to become invested in the talent.
Yeah.
If you're not invested in the talent, you won't give a damn about the matches. But the matches have to be good. It works both ways.
It's a lot of people talking about Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali and the matches they put on there.
So good.
I could watch them every week because they're that good at wrestling. When you want to watch wrestling, an actual wrestling match, you'd watch them.
But if you watch their matches in the big arenas, in the same arenas they do Raws and Smackdown, crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets. Yeah. You put that in sort of Full Sail, places go mental.
Yeah. I've always said that I think the 205 Live should be pre-recorded like they do NXT at Full Sail, smaller environment, more of a raucous sort of small crowd.
Completely agree. We will talk a little bit extensively about 205 Live in the bridge segment, so stay tuned for that, guys. But yeah, completely agree. Great advert, good match, good tag match.
Rockstar Spud spoke well on commentary as well.
So
and he
well
put over the talent, which was good to see as well.
Are we going to call him? We can call him Spud, or we're going to call him Maverick?
Well, yeah, we have to go with Maverick.
We should probably call him. Next up, Kurt Angle. He makes his way to the ring and announces the 5 challenges to Alexa Bliss's WWE Raw Women's Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. First Women's Chamber. Thoughts straight off?
They're going this way. You know, they're making every single match possible now for the women, and only 2 right. The 5 challenges.
Well, I'll quickly list them off. So he went Bayley.
Yep.
Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Sonya Deville, and Sasha Banks.
Now, to me, look, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, they knew they've only just been brought up.
It's very quick.
But that's unfortunate when you've got a 6-person match. It's gonna have to be filled out by people.
I think we should probably say straight off the bat, if Paige or Alicia Fox weren't injured, they'd probably both be in this match.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't see Rose or Deville being in this match.
It's the problem with the brand split at the moment is that, and I think it's almost the same with, you could say, with the Royal Rumble match as well, is that they've got all these women and they've got 17, 18 women that are on the main roster, but they're all split over 2 shows, so that leaves it down to 9 women a show.
But you need that because
the depth isn't there in terms of the show. I think in some ways almost they need the women just on one show.
Like the cruiserweights.
Yeah, you know.
But at the same time, okay, the only benefit to that is that you could have a proper women's tag division.
Yeah.
Which would be sweet as.
I know that's something that I think Sasha Banks tweeted about.
I think
having a women's tag
division. I thought a women's tag division was going to come in when you had when Sasha and Charlotte and Becky came onto the main roster and you had those three-way team, triple threat teams. I thought that was when we were going to have.
Yeah, so the unfortunate thing is that the roster's not deep enough in terms of star power, but give them time, a year, 2 years, and it'll be there. But also as well, the women don't tend to get, like on Raw, they get 2-3 segments.
Mate, they got loads on this.
SmackDown got 1.
I'm counting here. So they got the Kurt one, Alexa Bliss 2, Nia Jax 3, 4.
Yeah. Which is good, but usually they only get about 2 or 3.
So they got a lot. They got a lot this week, which is great.
But obviously, if they've got a bigger, deeper roster on each show, they're going to have to devote more time because they're going to have a lot of people not on the show.
Just very quickly, and try and give me your shortest answer. Do you think the men and the women should have the same size rosters on each show? So literally equal to the number.
I think in some ways you do. I think just because of the amount of time that's been around. Look, the men roster is going to be deeper. It's going to be deeper for years to come because that's how it is.
The other major issue is that in the men's division you have World Heavyweight, whatever it is,
tag, more titles, exactly.
You only have
one women's
champion on each show, so you can't have a deeper roster if you've got nothing else to invest in.
Yeah.
Of course, you can have rivalry matches. They're starting to do that more and more and more. And on SmackDown, you sort of have two different people with a Carmella having the Money in the Bank, but for the most part, unless they want to put in tag champions on both shows, or I don't know what you'd even call it. Let's just call it a women's Intercontinental Champion. I don't know. A women's United States Champion. I don't know. It's going to be difficult. But
yeah, and the thing is, I'd like to see more women on the show, but then in some ways you've got to cut the men's roster probably by a quarter.
You would.
A quarter, a third,
to
even.
Then balance it out.
You know, and the thing is, these days, you have WWE are in a time of trying to save money, right? They're
no pyro.
No pyro. They're live events they're trying to cut. Yeah, you know, all that sort of stuff. So if you can't call more women up,
what are you gonna do?
To have the same amount of men, because there's going to be more money. That's more people. That's more money you're going to have to pay them.
But
so it's interesting.
It is, and it's food for thought. So Kurt announces the match. Alexa comes out, says, "Look, Kurt, I've got a massive issue with you being a sexist pig," I believe she calls him. So the point of that is, Kieran, do you want to go through to the boys and girls and why Alexa was so pissed with Kurt Angle?
So Alexa was pissed with Kurt Angle because she said, "Why does Brock not have to defend his title in the Elimination Chamber?" And what I loved about this, one, it was real.
Very real.
Two, it's a very valid thought by most of the WWE universe, including me and you.
Yep.
Probably the same with the people that are listening right now. You know, why doesn't Brock have to defend it? Why, you know, and Kurt's almost flimsy excuse. I mean, this is a very poor promo from Kurt from the outset.
Oh, he
very
was
shaky.
From the moment he got in that ring and started announcing the women. He actually announced, I think he went, "And women's champion, here's
Yeah.
Bailey," and then he went, "And 6-time women's champion, Mickey James." I think he just got he really didn't.
It was very shaky, but and then when he tried responding to Alexa, and he was still shaky still, but I think that played in the fact that he was caught off. It's almost like Kurt wasn't prepared for it, but Kurt said that Alexa hasn't defended the title since October,
yeah.
Which
Again,
Alexa goes, "That's not my problem, is it?"
It actually isn't.
Which is true.
It is true. It's almost like it's a great rebuttal from Kurt to kind of go back with, you know what, you haven't defended your title then, but hang about, who makes the matches?
Yeah.
If it ain't Steph, which it not always is, normally is Kurt, then that's not my problem, bud.
Yeah, I think it was a great little sort of quip by Alexa. It plays into her character really well.
She's trying to escape from an issue. However, because the crowd started getting, do you really want to potentially babyface her? Is there a or is it the way with modern wrestlers these days? There is no face. There is no
I think it's
a lot. You want.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of grey areas. I think that Kurt getting the crowd involved was sort of like
twice. Yeah, like the second time was so weird.
I don't think they needed it, because I don't think if you're trying to get them to boo against Alexa in that when she's saying something that is correct, which is right, I think it's not. It's hard. I also think as well that I because of how shaky Kurt Angle was with this promo and what he was stumbling over his words, I think he may not have agreed with what Alexa was going to say. Like because you're making out that Kurt's the misogynistic.
It's a very dangerous line.
Exactly. And you know, no one's look. Kurt's he's not sexist. We know that.
No.
We're going to assume that he's not.
He's
but
not.
you know, but for WWE to say something that could be interpreted like that,
it's great.
You've got to be very careful. And I think Alexa done a good enough job with raising that point.
It was raised,
especially with obviously with the Rumble that's just gone on, all the positive news they've just got.
Oh yeah, there's no way that Alexa can be. There's no way that it's almost like she's dipped her toe in the water, going, "Go on, what do you think about this?" Everyone's gone, "Ooh, realism in wrestling,"
and that's what And most of the time, when it's realism in wrestling, it gets a lot more of a positive fan response.
I want to talk to you quickly also about the other match Kurt booked in that little segment. He booked Nia Jax. Because I was like, first and foremost, I was like, why on earth isn't she in this chamber?
It's like, I was the same, yeah.
Really strange. They booked her versus Asuka at the chamber pay-per-view, not in a chamber, but at the chamber pay-per-view. This is the problem with named pay-per-views. It sounds like everything's in a cell or in a chamber or in a TLC. In a match, singles match, and if Nia Jax wins, she goes on to WrestleMania with Asuka, and still Asuka still hasn't picked who she's going to face yet. So if Asuka hasn't, two issues with this, two massive issues. One, because Asuka hasn't picked who she's going to face yet, surely she has to do that before her and Nia go into that match at Chamber, because they then have to go on together if she wins at the Chamber to go to WrestleMania. Also, there's no chance in hell Nia Jax is beating Asuka by pinfall or submission. Now, if she wins by disqualification because of a Ronda Rousey or because of Charlotte or whoever else, then great, that's the only way I see this progressing. But why do you think that they consistently put people in this way, because I can't see Asuka losing. Not until WrestleMania.
Asuka needed the match. Because obviously, look, she's won the Royal Rumble.
Does she need the match? Does she?
I think she because she's in the WrestleMania main event. I think when you're a babyface wrestler, you need to have those matches continuing on to WrestleMania to prove that you're worthy of being in that WrestleMania match.
Do you think they don't want Nia to win the title? Do you think they're dancing round?
They could have put the belt on Nia like the first couple of weeks they put her on the show, because they were trying to build her up as a dominant monster. Look, she's not like most girls, right?
No,
she's
not.
bigger than most girls. She's physically
quick.
dominating. She's quick.
She's rapid.
And they could have put the title on her first, but I like the fact that they haven't given her the title yet. I still think there's stuff for her to learn. I don't think she's at her best. I think she's still learning.
For me, the everything about Nia Jax ticks every single box. Her presence, her exuberance, her energy. It is literally a couple of in-the-ring things that are towards that next stage. But for me, every match she's better. But
I think it would have been better for Nia to be in the chamber, have a dominating performance, than lose. Or Alexa keeps her title in that way, or whatever. But like you're saying, Asuka needs a match. So she's faced Bayley, she's faced Sasha. Who does Asuka face? In terms of the women's superstars on Raw, the next biggest one in line is Nia.
We'll plough through these two then, because Bayley has a little backstage what's it with Sasha at some point this evening, and says, you could do it last week, I'm going to do it tonight. Again, at no point I believe that Bayley's going to beat Asuka. At no point last week did I believe Sasha was going to beat Asuka.
But I like the promo what was said.
I like the promo.
If Sasha thinks that she can beat Asuka, Bayley knows she can beat Sasha because she has done. In NXT. I don't know if she's done it on
the main roster.
On the main roster, but but. That goes, that's how it works. I know I can beat Sasha, so if Sasha thinks she can beat Asuka, I can beat Asuka, and that makes sense, and I like that.
I look at the women's division now, and I know she's not the champion, but because of her run and her undefeated streak, I look at Asuka the same way, in one way or fashion, the same way I look at Brock Lesnar on the men's. If Brock wrestled on Raw, I would never believe he's going to lose. If he wrestled on a normal pay-per-view, I wouldn't actually necessarily think he's going to lose.
Do you know that stat that Brock Lesnar has never ever lost a match on Raw?
Never,
ever.
There you go.
He's never ever lost a match, because obviously he was on SmackDown most of the time.
He wasn't
when he first got called up. I think he was on Raw for a bit when he
debuted.
Yeah,
when he debuted, he was on Raw. I honestly,
he's never lost a match on Raw.
That is staggering, and he never will.
No, probably not.
And you know what? So who else never has? Asuka. And I tell you what, honestly, I don't even know how to get the words out, but her having matches on Raw, I think is pointless. Because I don't believe, and I need to believe that someone is going in a competition when two people go out. Did I think Bray was going to beat Roman? No. But a little bit of me thought, well, he might do.
Yeah.
At no point did I think anyone was going to beat Asuka.
It's almost the same thing with Goldberg in WCW. Obviously,
I
watched Nitro.
I wasn't. I didn't watch that.
I watched most of his streak, and you sort of once they started alluding to the streak and what the record was and the made up numbers at some point, you did almost think, Goldberg's not going to lose. Maybe they could have saved Sasha versus Asuka for Elimination Chamber. Thinking about it now, but I think they needed to get that match done, because I think they needed to prove that Asuka winning the Rumble, it wasn't a fluke, but they needed to prove that she can still beat people in a normal one-on-one wrestling match.
Yeah,
and they did that with Sasha and with Bayley.
And at the end of the Bayley match, there was a handshake, which we haven't seen before. She didn't want Ronda Rousey's handshake, but she took Bayley's handshake. Yeah. Interesting. We also should say Nia Jax did whoop a 17-year-old on Raw.
Yeah, apparently.
Was that legal? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because Paige wasn't allowed to be called up till she was 21, and this young lady was 17 years of age. So rumours could be.
I don't know.
We don't know, but either way,
it'll be interesting. That Sasha's been teasing a bit of a heel turn. Maybe it's best to do it against Bayley, but against her best friend. I
tell you what, as well, and I completely agree, and I think Sasha will turn heel eventually, because that for me, the boss is the best heel.
Yeah.
Also, at the end of the night, one super quick to jump backwards and forwards in between these women's division matches and segments. Nia does actually cut, and so she cuts a promo at the end of this match, right? Now, I've been very critical of Nia's backstage promos when she was with Enzo, when she was backwards and forwards between...
the fake smile.
The fake smile, the trying to act upset, trying to act serious. This little interview she did right after the match was perfect. It was short, it was to the point, it played to her strengths. She left. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do. That's exactly the way you need to do it with her. And I think that was, I don't know what you thought, but for me, that was more what they need to do, and no more of this backstage nonsense around stuff. No.
I think the backstage stuff is obviously easier to do and re-record and things like that at times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why they do it, and they probably, because they're in more control of that, that's why they've made Nia do it. But you know, she's getting better week by week, and she's gotten better since she got called up.
Absolutely.
Interestingly though, just on all these women matches, do you think all these potential women's matches they can have at WrestleMania?
Oh, there's
4, 5.
There's at least five matches.
You know,
I think you could probably...
Nia Bliss probably is going to be one. Asuka, Charlotte, Sasha Bailey.
Where does Ronda come into
Ronda's probably going to have a tag match. So you're talking.
True.
See, that's 4, and you still went and got people like Naomi on the show, Becky on the show.
I don't want to say the word, but 6-pack challenge comes to mind.
That's probably what it'll be.
I don't want it to be. I'd rather them.
This is the problem.
The women will probably the women will obviously want to be on the show regardless, and rightly so. But I would rather have meaningful women's matches and less women, but meaningful matches, than just whack them all in a match. Because that, to me, it's a great achievement of what they've all achieved, and they deserve to be on WrestleMania. But unless it's going to be in a match that's going to be like, look at this storyline. I want to see her kick her ass. Then, are you just shoehorning them in for shoehorning's sake?
I'll tell you what. Let's say this now. We'll say this on the air.
Oh God.
Let's do a little debate on the limits of WrestleMania and the potential how many matches there could be on the card and the time constraints of that. Because I legitimately think...
Are we doing a separate show on this then?
I think we should.
Okay.
And I legitimately think there will be no tag team title matches at WrestleMania.
Pre-show or main show or the whole show?
The whole show.
The entire thing?
The entire show.
Okay. Well, we'll do that. We'll set some time aside.
Considering, even just off the top of my head, the amount of matches, there's 9 main titles.
Are we including Cruiserweight and UK division?
We're including the Cruiserweight, because I think that's a main.
Are you counting UK division as in the NXT brand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
On the main shows, there's 9 titles, and then you got the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, so that's 10. That's 10 championships / trophies that you've got to get on the show, in my eyes, if you want it to be, So you're gonna have to cut something,
including potentially a Triple H Stephanie tag with Ronda and Braun.
Cena Taker.
Oh my God.
And
I like this. We'll do
a 5-10 minute show. Put it on YouTube.
How quick?
Well,
5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah,
Are you mental?
Yeah,
we cannot get a short show that quick.
5-hour show, about as long as WrestleMania. The time constraints of it.
Our show will be as long as the.
We'll do that. We'll do that at some point.
Do you know what? I'm up for that, and I will sit down and I will try and time out the matches.
Yeah.
But plus backstage promos.
The Hall of Fame segments.
Oh Jesus!
Because I think it's going
to be 8 hours this year.
I think I jokingly said last year. Like I said, we'll get into this in a bit. But I jokingly said this. I think this time last year, that WrestleMania almost needs to be a 2-day show.
It's 3. Well, including NXT now.
But a 2-day WrestleMania.
A 2-day WrestleMania.
A 2-day WrestleMania. Because sitting through a 6-hour show, 7-hour show, with the pre-show. Well, last 2 Manias finished at 5 o'clock, just before 5 o'clock in the morning over here. Started at 12. 2 hours on the pre-show.
No, 10.
Yeah.
10 pre-show in UK time. 10 pre-show, 12 main show, and then it ended at 4. 5.
Yeah. So
you're looking at over a quarter of a day of wrestling in one
that's
sitting.
Crazy.
It's
crazy. But anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on.
We'll do that video out for people to watch.
We will. The Bar, Kieran, are your Raw Tag Team Champions, and they are supposedly going to be defending their titles against Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan. Earlier in the night, Jordan and Seth were like, yeah, let's do this. We'll have our rematch. We'll take their titles back. We'll do this together. Unfortunately, Jordan didn't get cleared. Now, in real life kayfabe terms, Jason Jordan is actually suffering from a severe neck injury and has actually recently, since Raw, had surgery. We record this on the Wednesday. I think he had surgery either on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. Yeah. As reports would have it. Probably could be true, could not be true. It seems quite real.
Yeah.
No time frame on his return. However, in the constraints of Monday Night Raw, Kurt was like, well, the match is now, like, I don't think you're going to find a replacement. Roman Reigns comes for his second viewing of the evening, and the Shield, effectively 2/3 of the Shield back together, and they go and face the Bar. What did you make of this match, Kieran?
How many times has Seth Rollins faced Sheamus and Cesaro?
In some capacity.
It's crazy. But look, they have good chemistry. I don't think if Roman won the tag titles, just before Mania, before potentially facing Brock, I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah, no, especially before Chamber as well.
You know, it was good. It was good. I think it was good to play in the fact and have Roman do 2 matches, and you know, it was good. I feel sorry for Jason. The injuries come at the wrong time because I think he was just getting ahead. He was starting to get the fans to dislike him even more and boo him and boo him and boo him. It's come at the wrong time, but this potentially will lead into an actual Jason Jordan heel turn when he comes back. If he comes back in 2 months, comes back in 9 months, a year, 6 months, wherever it'll be, there's an opportunity there to go. Boom. Legitimately, take out a Seth Rollins, take out a Kurt Angle, do whatever.
He legitimately could come back 2 weeks before WrestleMania and face Kurt Mania.
Yeah.
Depending on the time frame. But regardless, we wish him well.
Apparently, it was only minor surgery.
It was. There's no. It could be 2 weeks.
When
it could
comes
be 2
to
months.
neck injuries, obviously we know with Paige, with Austin, with Edge, you know, they could potentially be career-ending.
They very much could be.
But anyway, like I said, we'd wish him his best in his recovery.
Absolutely. Next little thing on the list we got, it was Mickie James versus Sonya Deville. This match wasn't necessarily built to be what the match was about. In regards to a competition, Mickie went over, but it was afterwards when the rest of Absolution jumped into the ring and beat up Mickie. Paige was in the ring. She didn't do anything because she's not allowed to.
Probably get a slapped wrist if she decided to kick someone.
She's not allowed to, yeah, for obvious reasons. Alexa runs out and saves Mickie James. History there, Kieran, between Mickie and Alexa.
Yeah.
All the way back from SmackDown.
All the way back from SmackDown. This is obviously Alexa trying to get people on her side for the Chamber, which plays well into her character. She's always done that. She's always tried to get people on her side, and you know, it's a typical heel of of Alexa's how Alexa is getting people on her side. I liked it.
Mickie seemed sort of alright with it towards the end.
Yeah, maybe she was happy that someone saved her.
Did you get the crap you have her?
But unfortunately, I think at this point, Absolution's dead in the water.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
You know,
I mean, I know we spoke about. I thought Alicia Fox could not replace Paige, but be another member of that team to sort of give some veteran advice, especially in ring. Obviously, now she's injured as well because Mandy Rose replaced her in the mixed match challenge. We'll talk about it in a bit, but I think it's dead.
Yeah, I think they need to, if Paige can still work in it and be the mouthpiece, that's fine. But they need a heavy in there now. I think they need someone there. There's not really anyone out. I think you can call up from NXT that can do that job. The only person I can really think that would maybe benefit, and this one sort of, I almost hate saying it, is Tamina. Like, you know, she's been around a long time. She's not the best in terms of ring performance, but she's dominating, and I think that's what the group needs. If they don't have Paige in there, who's the veteran of the group.
I know they've split them up and gone back on TV, but I think you just put Lana back with Aiden English and Rusev and have them as a 3, and maybe that would be the best move, because really Tamina and Lana's it's not gone as well as they thought it would.
No.
I don't really know that relationship too well, but we will quickly recap the last chance match next week. Of course, it's going to be Finn, Kane, Apollo, and Bray. Sorry, not Bray. It's going to be Bray, Matt, Finn, and Kane. I said Apollo, not Kane. Yeah, Kane.
Where did you get Kane from?
Well, Kane lost the match against Braun Strowman. So
Kane's not in it. Kane's dead.
Yeah, let's talk about that then, because everybody else is getting that last chance thing.
Yeah, everyone's just wiped Kane off the face of the earth.
Interesting that.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. I was thinking you just pulled Kane out.
Well, honestly, I was talking to you earlier about it, and I was thinking, well, there's been 5 of them in the match.
Yeah.
It's not for the top, so there's no champion. Where's Kane?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's Elias, Cena, and Braun will be the main event. The winner gets to enter the Elimination Chamber last.
Great idea. I like the idea, but what about the other 2 participants? Just because they qualified today, does that not mean that they get a chance to qualify last or to be last in the chamber? I mean, that means Roman Reigns doing a 3rd match, but you know.
Have them wrestle again.
But could they not have done this next week? Have the last chance qualifier, and then have a chance for that last chance qualifier. Have a
6-way match, and the winner gets to go in last.
Something just like that. I don't know.
For me, this was almost like, look, we've got 3 great wrestlers here. We don't know what to do with them. They're not on the show. there's no need to shoehorn them in the show, although Roman wrestled twice. Let's just it worked. It was fine. The main thing after this match, not only was it a great pickup for Elias after he got the dupe after Braun did all the heavy. Those bruises on Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, he took a punch from Brock Lesnar at the Rumble.
Yeah, he staggered him around a bit.
Yeah, he took a lot. But the bruises and it almost looked like he was like bleeding on his just.
Yeah.
It's very, but he's a big physical man. He's going to take those big
Hits.
pounding bruises, and
Yeah.
he's going to take that. I'm really happy that Elias picked up the victory.
Oh,
this way.
so happy. So happy.
They're going places with Elias, and I like it. But Craig, who does Elias face at WrestleMania?
Oh.
Goes into the argument.
He's
Too many
another one.
How do they fit on the card?
He deserves a decent match.
He'll probably be in the Battle Royal, probably.
I'll tell you what though, bit of foreshadowing. Next year, I can see him. This year. Next year in wrestling terms after WrestleMania, I think he wins Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
I think he does.
yeah.
Who walks with Elias? Who walks with a briefcase? Have a look at that, Kieran. This is Monday Night Raw. How do you rate Monday Night Raw from this past Monday?
Yeah, I think it was a good Raw.
It was.
Look, Raw at this time of the year usually picks up, and it has picked up
Big time. Big time.
I wouldn't go as far as great, but I think it was a good Raw. There was enough that happened. There's enough that moved it on to next week, and they're obviously moving on to Elimination Chamber. Storylines are good. Some good matches on the show.
Packed show, really packed show.
Yeah, and I think it was a good Raw.
Awesome. Well, guys, that was our Monday Night Raw review. Stay tuned for our little bridge segment for 205 Live and the Mixed Match Challenge.
So, Craig, we move on to 205 Live.
We do indeed.
As we talked about earlier, Triple H has taken over the creative control of the show, and they're currently in the midst of their 16-man cruiserweight tournament challenge match thing going out to WrestleMania.
I guarantee they've gone on the WWE database, looked at every employee under the weight of 205 and gone, yeah, you. UK guys, Mark Andrews next week. They've had guys from NXT. They've had current. They are literally pulling every single person in.
I love that, and the reason why I love that is because
it's the best. The best of the best.
They're doing it about wrestling, which is what Triple H wants it to be. The whole Cruiserweight Classic, the tournament, the original tournament, was about wrestling.
Thing is, though, there's only so far you can get on tournament wrestling, because 205 Live, for me, that 205 Live tournament, okay, the UK tournament was fantastic, but it was only 8 guys over 2 days. The 205 Live tournament, how many originally guys? 32?
Yeah.
Like, for a long, drawn-out tournament, that was excellent.
Yeah.
Over 2 days, that WWE UK one, was it 16 guys?
16 guys.
That was great, but it was 2 days, it was bang, bang, done. It was great, it was intense, it was British.
Yeah.
It's what you wanted, is intensity. Yeah. Over that, was it 16 weeks or 12 weeks?
10 weeks it was.
10 weeks?
Yeah,
it's a long process.
Yeah, it is. But
I was in every single week. I wanted to
watch it.
Yeah.
Perfect time on the network. Watch it just after NXT, I think it was, or was it before one of the two?
Yeah, it was on a Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it bumped up a Wednesday. When you got 2 hours of wrestling on a Wednesday. Should it be on a Wednesday?
It's 205 Live.
Why does it have to be live?
Yeah, I think they've constricted themselves to the live bit. I don't think you're just going to have a show called 205. It sounds a bit weird now.
Just call it the Cruiserweight.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything flat.
But look, Triple H is now back in charge of it.
He is.
From the last 2 weeks, it's looked good. Just with the wrestling on the show. Mm-hmm. Now, I will admit, I haven't seen the matches yet, but I've heard the matches are fantastic.
Can I just note the Lince Dorado versus Kalisto match? Kalisto goes for a reverse Rana, and it kind of gets all of it, but Lince, once Kalisto's gone round, Lince lands head first on Kalisto's back, which I didn't think was physically possible, but it was. Even though the move wasn't executed like it should have been, it looked better. It looked amazing. It literally looked like
that's lucha libre for you.
Lucha libre, and it looked balls to the wall. Yeah. They went out there, they did everything they were allowed to do, like 205, like the Cruiserweight Classic. Yeah.
Obviously, the other match being Roderick Strong,
Hideo Itami,
called up from NXT. Whether it's a call up,
it's not. From what I understand, it's a debut on 205 Live, but he will still be in NXT.
Yeah, it's the same as Tyler Bate the week before was on 205 Live.
Mark Andrews next week.
But against Hideo Itami. Have they had a match on NXT before? I think they have. I think it might have been on a takeover, But regardless, two
Number
great
one
talents.
contender match?
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly. But two great talents, and I've heard real great things of that match as well.
I just think
Can't wait to give it a watch.
And again, you had people backstage. You had Tony Nese and someone else in a backstage promo with Drew Gulak. That was it, yeah. In a backstage promo with.
And they face each other next week, I believe, as well.
So there you go. Like, have two mates.
So that's it. It's 2 matches per week, right?
Plus a backstage promo, which they can do now.
Yeah.
Because on Raw and on SmackDown, okay, even though the Cruiserweights is owned by Raw, it's now it doesn't have to be, and it kind of isn't really anymore. It's almost like 205 Live rent a little spot on Raw, a bit like WCW did when they took over when they was on Monday Night Raw with Shane, and then now backstage, all of a sudden, instead of like matches magically happening on like Raw and SmackDown where the GMs make them, in Kurt and Brian, now you've got someone on 205 Live to go, right, you and you go to the ring.
I was never the biggest fan of your idea of 205 Live having a GM, but now I think it works, and I think it works because it's a focus on that show. It isn't Kurt Angle making matches. It isn't Daniel Bryan chipping in here and there. It's Drake Maverick making matches, making great content.
He's the
for
boss.
Fans.
He's the boss. He's the boss.
It'd be interesting to see if he's in the tournament. I think it'd be a big swerve if he goes to the last contender is me, and because I think people know he wrestles, but
some people won't know that.
But some people,
unfortunately, even though I know who he is, and some people know who he is from TNA, not that many people do. Yeah, especially with the different name. I don't think he should be in the tournament because I think the role he's in is great.
That goes into the storyline. Creating characters thing, which was Vince's idea for it, but Triple H is about the wrestling. But if Triple H is about the wrestling, should he not be in it? I don't know.
It's interesting.
But,
either way, so far so good with 205
So far so good. Can't wait to see what the final will be at WrestleMania. I still unfortunately think the cruiserweight title match will probably be on the pre-show.
All I hope is that it doesn't go on first on the pre-show in front of like 100 people. But if it, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal will probably be the main event of the pre-show. Yeah, the main event of the pre-show. Who knows where it'll be? I reckon. Do you know what? I'd love to have this open WrestleMania. Yeah. How great would that be? Yeah. You two, off you go. Just do whatever you want.
I will throw one out there, and because we haven't had a bit of news about this recently, will Neville return?
Could be
in this tournament.
He hated Enzo Amore, didn't he?
Yeah.
So why would he not return? Yeah. He's not in the Indies. I've not seen any.
No.
He has a 90 day.
He hasn't been released yet.
Not technically, no. He's on a 90-day non-complete.
Will we see Rey Mysterio in the 60-man tournament?
Depends when that last one comes through. It really does.
I think it's a bit too soon.
I don't think he will. He's got a lot of independent dates with 5-Star Wrestling in the United Kingdom. Once they've been obligated, then he's even said he's very open to a comeback.
And will we see the re-debut of Gilbert?
You're an idiot. The other thing I want to talk about here is the mixed match challenge. This week's match was Jimmy Uso and Naomi, the husband and wife tag team, against the Gold.
Is it Rose. Jimmy or Jay?
It's Jimmy.
Right, you sure?
No.
Is she sure?
No, probably not. It's definitely Jimmy. Against the team of Mandy Rose and Goldust. Now, okay, Mandy Rose and Goldust weren't successful in this match, and I think we probably could have guessed that beforehand. Yeah. But away from Absolution, watching these guys do some backstage promos together, since Mandy Rose was announced as Alicia Fox's replacement, and watching their entrance. I don't know if you've seen their entrance this week.
No, I haven't.
Mandy Rose comes out, then Goldust comes out. I'm going to try and do it for you in your bedroom as we speak, Kieran. Here we go.
This is going to be very weird.
As she's walking to the ring, she looks behind her over her shoulder and she waves Goldust over with a finger, and he's doing the whole kind of posing camera thing. It gave me flashbacks to like Luna. Remember Luna?
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
so the way you're describing this and the way I've seen people's reactions to this on Twitter, could this potentially be like Dustin Rhodes he's in the twilight of his career. He's probably not got long left. He's been a road agent for. I think that's where he'll end up.
100%.
He's been credited for teaching a lot of the divas how to wrestle.
Job for life.
Him and Fit Finlay.
Yeah.
Could Goldust / Dustin Rhodes be a potential manager for Mandy Rose?
Yes.
I think they've got big plans for Mandy Rose.
They look so well suited.
Mandy Rose is definitely a better Eva Marie. Mandy Rose is
she can-
spectacularly gorgeous.
She's so brilliant.
You know,
she's very pretty.
and they're gonna love to have that you know, that sex appeal on the show. As much as they don't talk about it, PG product, they're gonna want a good looking woman.
They don't have to spell it out.
Yeah.
To see that there's
But it's
a
a different
gorgeous
character.
woman
Yeah,
on the show.
the Emelina character. They wanted someone like that. Mandy Rose is that perfect person for
she's-
it.
yeah.
And to have someone like Goldust be a mouthpiece, be a manager, be whatever, a director for her, you know, something like that, I think would be great. And it's unfortunately that'll mean her taken away from Absolution. But like I said, at the moment, Absolution's a bit dead in the water.
Also, the director, a bit of a shit gimmick that.
I think so, yeah. But it's better than being a voice.
Lovely. Yeah, you're fired. All right, well, cheers, guys. That was the bridge segment. Anything else you think we should chat about in that? You know, you let us know. But guys, we're going to move on to SmackDown Live coming up next. Hi guys, welcome back. If you're still with us, thank you very much. We've just covered Raw, 205 Live and the Mixed Match Challenge. We're now moving on to SmackDown Live. And again, mega packed show. They're really pushing towards Fastlane, which is their branded pay-per-view. Also, what people keep saying at the moment, Kieran, and if you picked up on this, is when they say Elimination Chamber or Fastlane, they go, the WWE Network pay-per-view. That's what they're calling it now.
Yeah, it's not one of the big, obviously the big four, the big five.
But it doesn't roll off the tongue, does it?
No, it doesn't.
The WWE Network pay-per-view Elimination
It's not a
Chamber.
pay-per-view. They're not pay-per-views anymore, are they? WrestleMania is probably the only pay-per-view
that people
would buy for pay-per-view because people are only going to, but you get free trials these days with WrestleMania. But
30 days.
Yeah, I don't know. What I think they were called special events, but special events doesn't sound right. It will always be pay-per-views.
It will.
You know, that's what we're.
And they all are still on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
you can still order them.
But we have the network, and that's what we watch on.
We don't need to order them anymore, do we? Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon open the show. It's very tense.
Very tense.
I mean, I love what they've done here. They've taken two baby faces and found a reason
to make you doubt both of them.
Both of them. Yeah, both of them could, depending on your point of view. If you want to look at them as a faces and heels, you could look at one angle, one point of view, and think, yeah, Shane's a right knob, and Daniel Bryan's the good guy. He's trying to do the right thing.
It's like, who's your favourite? Is it Shane or is it Bryan?
Well, I've loved Shane for years, you know that, and Bryan is Bryan. Yeah,
but I'd say the same. I've loved Shane for years as well, but Bryan is Bryan.
Bryan is Bryan. Yeah. AJ Styles does come out in the middle of this and sort of tells them both to sort themselves out. You know, get your act together. You know, this is SmackDown. AJ Styles is the house I built. Come on, let's get on with it. But tell everyone what Shane McMahon said to Daniel Bryan halfway through this. This was so brilliant.
Yeah, he basically said that Daniel Bryan is vicariously,
Such
that's
a
the word,
great
vicariously
word.
living through his life through Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens because he can't wrestle anymore.
Yep.
And they actually alluded to that on TV, and I was like, oh, I actually perked out my seat. I was like, oh, hello, they actually go in there. They're actually going there. And
right. I want you to give me a one-word answer, and it's literally yes or no. And we're not allowed to talk about it afterwards, and we're going to go straight on to the next thing because
I know exactly what you're going to ask me, and I'm going to need to give more than one word answer.
You can't, because we will come back to this later on, and you know we will. Okay, will Shane versus Bryan at Mania? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I like that. No. We will come back to this. You know we will.
Great promo.
Great, really good promo.
Very tense.
From both
but
of them.
they've done this for weeks, and they've done this really well for weeks.
We want an end product now.
Last week they didn't do anything with it. They just they seemed last week they brushed over it. This week they've gone straight back to it.
Yeah, and it's almost like we knew what side Bryan was hanging his hat. It was almost like he wanted Shane. He didn't mind, you know. But now we're not sure again.
I still like it. I think they've moved it forward now. They're starting to ramp it up. For a couple of weeks, it's been a bit same old.
The last
ramped up.
The last amazing storyline Bryan was in was when he won the world title at Mania 30, and that was a long, drawn out story.
Again, we said it before. Since SummerSlam, July time, this whole Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn.
Well, it's been AJ was in the storyline at the beginning when him versus Kevin Owens, and then it became Shane versus Kevin, And then AJ kind of disappeared, went off and won the WWE title, and now he's going to loop back round again, and now he's involved at the very end again. Just great storytelling, but fantastic storytelling.
It's very interesting how they got there. Whether they meant to have got there.
Who cares?
But it's got there and it's been good. And,
it's amazing.
It's probably been... It's very hard to say if you want to do a year-end awards, but I think it's probably been one of the best storylines over the whole year.
In wrestling,
in the wrestling,
Mania to Mania, we move on. Liv Morgan versus Charlotte. Now, it's obvious Charlotte wants to take out the Riot Squad one by one.
Yeah.
It's basically a 3-on-1 handicap here until Ruby Riot and Sarah Logan get booted out by referee Mike Chioda. Actually, I like Mike. Charlotte beats Liv eventually with the figure 8 and goes over to the commentary and goes 1 down, 2 to go. I can see her picking these off one by one.
Yeah. And this is Charlotte's the champion. Charlotte didn't have anything to do with the Rumble except for standing in the ring at the end and stare Ronda Rousey down. So they need to make her look like a credible champion. Same as Alexa Bliss, not really defended the title for a period of time. They need to get matches in behind and win those matches, build them up as a credible champion. It's likely that it's going to be Asuka versus Charlotte. So if that's the way it's going to go, they need to have Charlotte win matches. And,
quite frankly,
and taking out 3 people of the 3 women of the Riot Squad, perfect way to do it.
Yeah, very good. We move on to the Bludgeon Brothers destroying a couple of local talent again. Not the first time I've done this. They're starting to kind of whole Braun Strowman, Nia Jax. We're going to beat local talent, enhancement talent, jobbers, whatever you want to call them, and eventually you can see that end goal. Little foreshadowing here as they're leaving. Usos come out. Oi, oi, oi. Thought he was going to kick off. But
they've done it last week as well. I didn't know if it was last week or the week before when the Usos were leaving and the Bludgeon Brothers come out.
Yep.
So
they did after a promo. Yep. So it was like reversal roles.
This would be likely a tag team title match at Fastlane. I mean, Fastlane's 5-6 weeks away still. So there's plenty of time to build that up.
Hence the slow build. No need to kind of get into fisticuffs now.
But again, I can't see this having a WrestleMania match. Where's it going? Who's the Usos face? Unless they face the New Day again, but as much as they'd put on a great match, we've seen it.
I don't know if I want to see that again.
Look,
the Barbers,
they need to establish tag teams on both shows.
Could we see Bar Usos again? I know
I wouldn't mind it.
Happened at Survivor Series, so why not a rematch at WrestleMania?
But Survivor Series is the only time of year that a Raw and Smackdown can face each other in direct competition.
Of course they do, because what's the other Rumble pay-per-view they do? They don't. Yeah.
And mixed match challenge. That's another one.
Oh, yeah, I can't think of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, you've stumped me, kids. Well done. That's why you're the creator, man. Yeah. Legend.
But the Bar versus the Usos. I'd like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't think they'd go there though.
No, I don't either.
But it'll be on the pre-show.
Jeez. Yeah. It would be as well, wouldn't it? Usos. What a great so many good promos lately. Yeah. You think they're using the performance center they got in Florida, didn't they? Yeah. Practicing that promo room. Like the way we went from face paint to from being
balling in the paint or something like that, wasn't it?
From being an okay-ish team to being down since day
being
one.
Part of the Brotherhood with Roman. Samoan dynasty thing.
They, from being an okay-ish team to having match of the night team. Just such a great promo. A couple of what's the word I'm looking for? There was a lot of metaphors that they used tonight in that promo, saying that. When we say we're on lockdown, we don't mean like a cage. We mean in your brain. We mean we've mentally locked you down. We've got you. Just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, ever since they've developed this new gimmick and things like that, they've been superb. And you can tell the difference between the happy-go-lucky baby faces that they were when they arrived. How many tag team titles did they win? I think it was once they won it. You've seen since then.
When they were Tamina.
The day one-ish, they've won 4. Yeah. And I know a lot of that was back and forth with the New Day, and I understand that, but the gimmick's so much better. They've got so much better crowd interaction. Crowds are chanting along with them. The crowds are more involved in their matches.
And their heels. Well, now not so much. Now not so much.
There's still heel tendencies, but I think they're very tweeners at the moment.
100%. And I love them. The only thing I will say about them now being 5-time since the brand split, is that when they had the old penny belts, that were the only tag titles.
Yeah.
So to be a one-time tag team champion back then, it's actually not so bad.
Yeah.
Because there's only one set of tag titles, so you can only kind of go after one.
That's the unfortunate thing with the brand split.
Yeah, you get lots of numbers tied.
It's like the previous brand split when you had like Jack Swagger as champion.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the Barbie.
Christian wouldn't have been a world champion.
Two-time
champ. If there wasn't two different
with the Barbie
titles.
4-time tag team champions.
Probably not. No,
there'd probably be like 1 or 2 tops.
Yeah.
But hey, rather have the brand split than not have the brand split.
Yeah, definitely.
Bobby Roode versus
Bob Roode.
Bob Roode versus Alexander Rusev. Not called him that for a while.
No.
For the United States title. Believable.
Yeah. Good,
like proper solid. Again, get rid of the US title. Just give us a TV champion. I know you've said this before from WCW.
The US title has credibility.
Of course it does.
And it's been around for a long time.
Very long time.
First champion was Harley Race. That's right, I think. But yeah, I'd like to see a different design of the US title. I think I don't like this current design.
It's the only one for me that's not been updated. No, Intercontinental was kind of chopped and changed, tags. Obviously, the Universal now being introduced. WWE title's always going through transitional changes. No, the United States title is just, apart from the spinner one that Cena had, it's the same one.
Been the same.
Ever since the WWE re-debuted it in, 05, 06, something like that. It's been the same thing.
Yeah.
But, I really like...
yeah, it was a good little match.
I thought Rusev was going to win.
I thought Rusev...
I really did.
This is what you want to make it believable in the fact that anyone can win.
Yes.
And I think this is a good little stage for Bobby Roode at the moment.
Oh, it's perfect.
Being the US champion.
Really good.
He had an open challenge at the Royal Rumble where he's faced Mojo.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Mojo probably deserves to be in it, or whatever he does, whatever your opinion is, but he's given opportunities. And it's an easy thing for them to do with the US title. They've done it with Cena. AJ started to do it with the US Open Challenge. I'm happy with that. I don't mind it so much. But obviously, what happened after the match?
Because you say anyone can get a title match, but also anyone can get RKO'd out of nowhere.
They can indeed.
My God,
has Randy Orton been a United States champion?
No,
he hasn't.
He's been an Intercontinental champion.
John Cena hasn't been an Intercontinental champion, which in terms Roman Reigns has been both. Now he's been an Intercontinental and US champion.
He has.
He's won every single title that you can possibly win,
apart from the Universal Championship.
Yeah, apart from which he will win.
He will at WrestleMania.
But,
spoiler.
And usually for me, I'm quite a perfectionist like that. I mean, if you're going to be the best of the best, you're going to win. You got to win every title that you are around.
Do you know what? I'm glad you said this, and I don't even know if you meant to say this, but it's going to work out really well. So let's pretend we're professional. Next little sort of segment, we've got Kofi Kingston in the New Day talking about Kofi going for the WWE title.
Yeah,
like we're on about Randy. Maybe he's targeting the United States title. I want this. Kofi is WWE champion.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way for the New Day to go.
I think it is.
Because I mean,
Kofi's been around for 10 years. He celebrated 10 years.
He has. Xavier went for the United States title. They supported him.
Yeah.
Support Kofi. Kofi going for the WWE title.
So, what would be interesting? Because the New Day, they're still a tag team, but they're throwing pancakes around at the moment. I
don't like. I like bootios.
Yeah.
I don't like pancakes.
It's funny, but it's like
they look rotten, don't they?
Yeah, it's a bit over the top.
They look crap. Would you eat one of them pancakes?
Yeah, if Biggie gave.
There's a lot of gluten in that, so I can't.
Yeah,
but
you'd be shitting yourself. But
literally,
if they said after WrestleMania, a triple threat match, number one contenders match for the WWE title between Kofi, Xavier, and Big E, I'd love it.
I would.
I'd love it.
In that lull period between them and SummerSlam.
I'm not saying that New Day are done, but they haven't really done much. They hosted last year's WrestleMania.
Oh, such an accolade.
And that was because Kofi was injured, I think. That's why they didn't want to...
Yeah, but still. They still got picked to do it.
And they got picked to do it.
That's
because they are a mainstream tag team now, in my eyes.
The people that have hosted WrestleMania, Rock, Hogan, New Day.
Yeah.
What a list.
Yeah.
Like, what an honour.
But they had amazing tag team matches with the Usos. But since then, not really done much. Do they need to split them up? Yes, I think they get into that point where they're going to go, right, what do we do now?
I would amicably let them do their own thing, but always have each other.
Like the Shield.
Like the Shield are supposed to be. Yeah, no, I think so.
Kofi being...
I don't want anyone to be heel though. I just don't think it's necessary.
No.
It'd be so...
I think the one that would be the best heel would be Xavier Woods.
Because of his intellectual chat.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say Big E. Because he has been as well.
Yeah. I think Big E's almost big. Yeah, Big E's almost got the sexual chocolate vibe. Like, I mean, if he was around in the Attitude Era, that would have been his gimmick.
He'd have been Mark Henry's like sidekick,
exactly,
wouldn't he?
Exactly.
It'd have been him, D'Lo, and Mark Henry.
Kofi deserves at least a shot for the WWE title because
if our truth has, then surely Kofi Kingston does.
Kofi deserves one. You know, he's been around for 10 years.
Every year they get him to do a trick at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Every year when it was at WrestleMania, they got him to do a trick in the Money in the Bank match. Every year they rely on Kofi.
Could be one of them that wins the Money in the Bank. I mean, it's a lot of foreshadowing.
Could you imagine all three members of the New Day in the Money in the Bank match? Yeah. It could very well be a scenario that we see.
But yeah, I mean, obviously we moved on from Randy Orton, possibly leading into a Randy versus Bobby Roode match at WrestleMania. Yeah.
Fastlane, maybe that looks
maybe
like
Fastlane, but it could be a Mania match.
I can't say that.
Usually at WrestleMania you have either an IC or a US title multi-man ladder
well,
match.
Since the Money in the Bank got moved to its own pay-per-view a number of years ago, you do end up with a ladder match for, like last year was Zach.
It's been IC title for the last couple of years,
so
hasn't it?
Maybe it's the US.
Maybe it might be the US title. And there's more, I'd say there's more potential people on SmackDown to put in that match. Rusev, Aiden English, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Mojo Rawley, Zack Ryder.
Zach again.
There's 6 already, you know, and that's not even think Ty Dillinger. Baron Corbin. There you go.
Baron Corbin.
There's plenty.
Oh,
there's
Jesus.
Plenty, but whereas on the Raw side of things, I think it's a bit. The mid card's a bit smaller.
He was Money in the Bank.
Yeah, he was. And he lost. Don't tell him that. He gets angry.
Don't hinder Jinder.
Don't.
Also, see Jinder on Twitter.
Yeah.
Completely ripping him up. I remember.
What's his name? Craig.
I tweeted you, didn't I?
Yeah,
not
tweeted. What do you call him?
Mojo's mate.
Yeah, Mojo's mate.
Is he
I think it might have been a bit more explicit than that.
Yeah, we can't repeat that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, isn't that Mojo's good friend in the...
Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, that's the one. Because I thought, hey, that name... Like, never... Because, okay, I don't really watch the NFL. Obviously, as you can guess. But I decided to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was legit. I was like, well, what a great time to start watching the NFL.
It was a good game.
Amazing game. I was like, Rob Gronkowski. That name sounds familiar. It's like, that's.
Yeah, the tweets that come out from Jinder the other day.
Don't hinder Jinder.
There's another person for a US in the Jinder. You know, considering the year that Jinder's had.
But one of the Singh brothers is here now. So does that make the group lose? I don't know.
We could always bring back Great Khali.
Yeah. You just fill him in for the Singh brother. Another thing that happened on SmackDown before we move on to our main event with Sammy and Kevin was the SmackDown Top 10.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say now, might be an unpopular opinion, might be a popular opinion. I hate it.
What's it for?
Doesn't mean anything. What does it mean? It's a kayfabed, gimmicked.
If you got
top
something
10.
for it,
you don't know who voted for who.
Yeah.
Which I think would help.
Yeah.
With why do you vote for that guy? That could get some storylines kicking off.
Even have people going backstage saying, "Oh, come on, vote for me. Come on, I want to be in this."
Can you imagine a Drew? Okay, he's not on.
A
Drew Gulak
doing a PowerPoint,
trying to get people to vote for him.
Yeah, you know,
somebody wins. Somebody comes number one because they've campaigned.
Maybe
like a Drew Gulak.
Maybe I don't know
weird.
if Bobby Roode's doing a US Open challenge. Maybe this just could be a popularity contest for a title match at Fastlane for the US title or something like that.
If the fans voted for it, I think, okay, fine.
Yeah, if the fans voted for it,
but
you're always probably going to see Ty Dillinger at the top.
It's a it's a gimmicked. And where was Rusev in there? Like, surely Rusev was in.
I'm going to reserve judgment on it. Until I see what it's about.
Give it to Mania.
It just almost seems like one of those power ranking things they do a video about every.
But that's on .com.
Yeah, and that's just kayfabe. It doesn't mean anything.
So and so beat so and so this week. They're up 2 spots.
Yeah,
that's because they were booked to win, mate.
Yeah,
shocking that.
But that's trying to play into the realism and things like that. In it. But
it's a sport. It's a sport.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. It might mean something in the future. Maybe they just done it as one of these things they wanted to get over on Twitter and get people interested in interacting. But they didn't know how it's playing out.
I agree
on
with
the main
it.
show.
I think I completely agree. It's very wise for us just to sort of go, we'll see. But right now, we're both very confused.
And it was shocking that Ty Dillinger was in at 10. But as he said, this is the only time I don't want to be number 10. I want to be number 1.
Oh, well on time. Aspirations. He was 10 in the Rumble, by the way.
Yeah, he was.
I'm telling you, I was screwed.
Yeah.
Oh, you admit I was screwed?
No, it's Sami Zayn.
Was it 7-4?
7-5.
7-5.
Yeah. All right. But we've still got 2 pay-per-views for Mania.
We do. 2 pay-per-views before WrestleMania.
Yeah, but it's one each show, and it's not
It
too
is.
bad, yeah.
We've got a chance. We move on to our SmackDown main event. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the number 1 contendership to AJ Styles WWE title at Fastlane. I wasn't sure what to expect from this, not because I didn't know it would be a good match, because I wasn't sure if they were going to wrestle or not fight each other, and I didn't know what to expect in regards to a match.
I think I was quite naive because I thought this was actually just going to be a legitimate contest.
I didn't think it would be, but it was.
But the way it obviously look, they got disqualified. AJ got involved.
AJ,
yeah,
but
punched Kevin first. Sammy first. Yeah, and anyway, it caused a disqualification.
And then we should say, Brian.
I thought it was just going to be a legitimate Sammy beats Kevin. I thought Sammy would beat Kevin and have Sammy versus.
Well, if
AJ
someone was going to win, I thought it would have been Sammy. Because we don't know. We don't have this information in front of us, despite what the internet reckons. We don't know how bad Kevin Owens' injury is.
I still think Sammy should have won it because I think Sammy needs to
have that
get up to Kevin's level.
Yep.
You know, and that's why I thought Sammy would win.
Even if he beat AJ, then AJ beat him in the rematch before WrestleMania, and then Nakamura and AJ. Because for me, even though you've got Nakamura and AJ as your main goal, last year for SmackDown, what was the main event for SmackDown? When we started the run before WrestleMania?
I couldn't tell you.
It was Cena versus Orton.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. And I said to you, I wouldn't mind seeing that now. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Not so much.
Not so much.
No.
But we got Bray versus Randy.
Yeah.
So they're telling us we're going to get Nakamura versus AJ. I do think we'll get Nakamura.
I think we will. I think it's too much of a dream match to do.
And even Nakamura on SmackDown did pop up to him in the backstage and go, mine, or my WWE title, or didn't really make much sense if I'm honest, but
would you like a AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens fatal 4-way match at WrestleMania?
No, because I want to see AJ Nakamura.
Yeah.
But would I be against it? No. But what would I rather see? I'd rather see Nakamura.
Those 4
and
would
AJ.
be on a cracking match.
It would just
It'd
to
be
sort of
crazy.
speculate. It'd probably be match of the night. But I really want to see.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I can see them possibly going that way just to say middle finger to us, you know.
If it saves it for SummerSlam, fine. But I don't.
But
think
then
it needs
again,
to.
that leads into what's Kevin and Sammy going to do at Mania? Are they going to face Shane and Bryan? Are they going to be in a 6-man tag where Bryan's with Sammy and Kevin, and Shane's got 2 superstars that he randomly picks, probably Randy Orton and
that might work.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
The Undertaker.
Yeah, maybe, and that might protect the Undertaker. You know, that's the thing. You know, there's only a certain amount of matches that I think are set in stone for Mania. There's a lot that I think could change. I mean, the day of the Royal Rumble, I said, well, do you know what? What about Braun versus Miz for the Universal title?
Well, we've seen Braun versus Miz rumoured.
Yeah.
But there's no ends to the amount of matches that could happen at WrestleMania.
Last year, we thought that Goldberg versus Lesnar was just going to be a WrestleMania match, but it involved the Universal title.
It did really last minute when obviously Brock beat Kevin Owens. So yeah, who knows? Maybe Chris Jericho will be back for WrestleMania.
Yeah,
we really don't know.
He says he's not. I think he's not going to be at Mania, but you never know.
I'd love him to be, but looking at this right now, just from talking to you for the last hour,
don't need him.
Where's he going to go?
I say you don't need him. I think you always find a place for Jericho.
Yeah,
you
would, but where?
Where'd you put him? Yeah.
Where? Anyway, Kieran, it's been an absolute pleasure. This has been Dirt Shit Mania, episode number 3. How have you evaluated this week in WWE?
I think it's been a good week. I think I'd probably give the edge to Raw over SmackDown this week. Mm-hmm. I usually like SmackDown more, but
I think it's probably quite obvious we both like SmackDown.
I think it's been a good week for both shows.
Really good week for both shows. Nice. I'd love to give a big old hat tip to 205.
Yeah.
205.
I'll give it a watch.
205 Live. There we go.
205
205
I'll
Live.
give it a watch. I'll give it a watch just because it's wrestling, and it's always nice just to sit there and watch a wrestling match sometimes. So.
And get reinvested in some characters
Yeah.
that we've... Lindsay Dorado. Forgot about him.
Yeah.
Was he in the final?
No, that was Grand Metalik.
That's okay. See? Grand Metalik.
That's the
I
one.
want to do pronunciation. Guys, thank you very, very much for listening to this episode of Dirt Sheet Mania. I've been the voice.
I've been the director of creativity.
Guys, thank you very much. We will see you next Wednesday or Thursday, whenever this podcast will drop. Have a good week, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.